Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Coin King channel. I'm your host, Down to Crypto TA. Bitcoin is seeing a major sell off right now. Nothing that we weren't really expecting. We did talk about the $85,000 and the $80,000 territory as a point of interest, and we have hit 81,000, give or take. Between that price. We do have a golden pocket on the horizon. I did tweet yesterday, actually not tweet. I was on CoinMarketCap CMC, and I put this post out here. I was looking for price action to come down and at least attempt to hold our second momentum line here, our second trend line in here. We broke below it. We reclaimed back above it ever so slightly, and now we've dipped back down below it. We have the 2.618 here from the fib extension, and we also have the golden pocket coming in here. And that's going to be at 78,490.26, and that's on the Binance chart here. It's getting pretty bad. even though you're slightly prepared for price action to get down to these levels, it is getting pretty bad. And it's not the fact that Bitcoin price is selling off, because you're going to sell off at some point. You're going to that's just how markets move, right? You go up for a little while, you come down for a little while. And I think it's not for me, it's not the fact that Bitcoin price is selling off. It's the fact that it seems to not give two craps about giving a bounce whatsoever. And that has been the major thing for me here on the higher time frames. We got one bounce in here from the one from right around in here. And that was before we started hitting the OI targets, the 100, the 95, the 85 to the, 90, 80, whatever those targets have been. We're just accelerating. That's the major kicker for me. We're just accelerating, just breaking through levels that you would expect to hold as some sort of support. Everything is being broken. I kind of figured the 786 would not. It's just too many people interested in the 786 after we lost the 618. I just kind of figured that. So I threw out these extra levels yesterday. But even still, because I had I'm gonna delete that. I had a limit order set up in here for 80. What was my target? Which I closed out as soon as the bounce happened. So my limit order got hit. Price continued to run clean through my my price. I had a limit order set for 84,354. I started to move it down just a little bit, but it still would have been around 84,000 or so. Price just completely slapped straight down through that. And then once we saw, actually, sorry, it was 83,650. I had a limit order set for 83,650 since yesterday. And when price started coming down, I was like, yay, I'm a genius. And it kept going. It was like, whoa, I'm not a genius. And then that quick bounce happened, and I took some profit out of that. Made like a 8.41% profit on that, and then I closed that out immediately. Now I have set up a new limit order, and that's going to be right in here where the golden pocket is at here, which we may actually take out this low in the process. So be looking for something like the golden pocket and possibly the SFP here. See if we even get an SFP. That would be interesting if we even get an SFP in here. But and that is what. And trust me, I yesterday I took a few, and that was me taking that limit position, and then price ran straight through that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose a bunch of money. And then it came back up a little bit, and I jumped right out of it. I took some other entries yesterday. Minor losses, like a $5. I set it for like maybe just I lose $1 or maybe I lose $5, something like that. But when that candle happened, it was like, geez, Louise, like, oof. I didn't have a stop on that one, which was my fault anyway. I didn't have a stop on that one. Um, so that's what I'm going to be watching for today. See if price comes down here, hits the 786, possibly even do a liquidity sweep down here at. Actually, let me just use. mm, Possibly even do a liquidity sweep, but you do have the golden pocket here, golden pocket, and then 786 a little bit closer down here towards the 31618. So 1, 2, maybe 3, little bounce on 4 and continuation on 5. Hopefully that'll be the case here on this weekly time frame, but it looks quite awful. It looks quite awful at this point, and simply because we're breaking another momentum line. The initial one was the one that was going through here. That was the initial one there. This is the one that when we slipped through here, we lost the 618, and we also lost the 60 RSI on the monthly time frame. Now, I do think that we may be down below the 50. Losing the 60 on the monthly time frame is generally continuation, which is what I shared with you the last time. When you lose the 60, that's generally where, and this is not going to line up directly. When you lose the 60, and it was off of this candle, when you lose the 60, that's generally where you have the continuation at. And you lose the 60, that's generally where you have the continuation at. When you lose, before it lost the 50, and you can see we're at 50.81 right now. Before it lost the 50 here, it did give a little bit of a bounce. And then it came back, and then it dropped the 50. And after it dropped the 50, that's when we started to, you can't really tell it from looking at this, but we were just a few candles away from things starting to slow down, not actually reverse, but these candles started to get a lot smaller in size. As you can see, they started to get smaller in size. But this candle here, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This candle right here, it just seems to be the gift that keeps on giving. And this is, this 1 month. Imagine this candle getting so large in size that. Now this one is pulled from the absolute low, so you don't really need to pay attention to that one just yet, even though we will at some point be coming into our bear market territory. The one that I'm looking at on the other time frame is going to be this one here, where you have 78,631, and this is the index chart here, so this is not the Binance chart. So 78,631 here, and then we lose the golden pocket. You come into bear market territory at that point. That's really a great place, in my opinion, to start accumulating on Bitcoin for your spot position. Under the assumption that we'll continue to do what we did before and hold the bear market lows, or as it has been previously, holding the low from that indicator that I use here. I know that price will retrace somewhere between the 618 and the 0.886. But if we're doing anything more than that, as I mentioned to you, then we would be breaking below the 40 RSI, which Bitcoin has never done before. And that could be the one time that price actually drops a lot further. So that is what I'm going to be watching for. I did take a little entry in here yesterday as well. Took an entry here. And then once we got up here and we started to reject, I closed it out on this candle here. I closed it out. This was the trend line here that we were looking for price to come down and maybe hold again like it did when it was here off of this one. But that didn't happen. It ended up being a point of resistance instead. So we lost it, and I took that little entry here, and then we came up, we back tested, and we rejected from it. So that is that. This is a trend line that we're currently under right now, and this is the 26 EMA from the monthly time frame. I did notice that 26 EMA. That's another killer for Bitcoin's price action. I mean, we would absolutely need to bounce from here. Absolutely need to get that one final little pity bounce. I'm not assuming that price is going to go up and take out the high at this point. We've broken we've broken trend. We've clarified the things that we clarified previously in the past that indicated that we were in a bear market. So I'm not looking for all-time highs, but I am looking for that last little pity bounce up that could possibly give us that right shoulder for us to move, for prices to go down to the bear market territory. That is what I'm looking for right now. So on that monthly time frame over here, that you can see it right here. That is the 26 EMA. And you can see how the last time price action did get a bounce off of that 26 EMA. It's going to look different from the lower time frame as it does, as you know, you see that little wick through it. It's going to look painful from the lower time frame. Just like it looks painful from the lower time frame, seeing this little break in this ascending trend line here. It's going to look painful if we do sort of wick below that ever so slightly. But this is where we got the bounce the last time, the little pity bounce before dropping the 50. And right now we're at 50.85. So this happened. We got the bounce up, and then we came back and we absolutely claimed that 50. And it was off of this candle right here, the second tap into the 26 CMA. This is just the first tap. So we'll see if, if we can repeat this here. That would be great. And then get the move up, back up into here, either back here to around 100,000 or 102,000, or maybe even come back up and tap around this exact top in here around 110. I think I have 110 set as the highest target. Yeah, 110 is the highest I have things set for in here, from what I can tell. So we'll see how this goes, guys. I know that we are below the. I know we're below the 20 SMA as well. We're below the 20 SMA. We're even breaking on the, which was interesting to me. I was looking at. Turn that off for a second. Actually, I'm gonna turn it back on. Let me go to the 3-month. Let me just see what we're looking like here in a 3-month. This is 77. Let's say 77,600. So that will be this low in here, more than likely. Might take that low. But here on the Bollinger, right? Because you can see how it broke below it here as well. But if you were a trader of this time frame right here, it's a lot easier to take these blows. A lot easier to take something like this if you're trading on such a higher time frame. So we have been moving in between this, and we just broke down below it. It doesn't look. This is so difficult, guys. This is so difficult. So difficult. I think we get a bounce up from somewhere around here. Maybe that, like I said, that golden pocket. Before that golden pocket, potentially even sweeping the liquidity from here, which I would hate to see that part happen just yet. I'd rather that be on the next leg down here. I'd rather see us bounce away from around that golden pocket come back up a little bit, just like we did here, which would be the same thing I was looking at on the monthly time frame with the 26 EMA, just like we did here, come back up for that pity bounce and then continue to cycle down here, somewhere down here around this 20 SMA or slightly below the 20 SMA. Wherever our low is supposed to be at here, which is this candle wick right here, for the bear market. That is what it's looking like. That's what it's looking like. It's just the fact that we're blasting through everything that's killing me. We're just blasting through those support levels or potential support levels. We're just blasting through them. So that's what I'm looking for there. Based on that 3 month time frame, that is where our harmony is at right now. Until we break that, we never really had full harmony here on the 1 month time frame because we were breaking below it over here. Harmony is generally where you stay in between, so it must be something with the volatility itself. Maybe on the ATR that shows something slightly different, and you can see where the 20 is here. So we are looking to pop our little heads down in between here. Just hopefully not as we slow the process down because the process is really fast right now. It is really fast right now. Oh boy. Also, I did publish the multi-time frame Bollinger Band indicator. It is available on TradingView. You just, I don't know if you just MTF Bollinger Bands, and you'll be able to find it. It's the first time I published anything, so you can access that freely and use it on one of your time frames. This is showing where I shared it right here. It captured all of my TA and everything. This is my first time, so I really didn't know what to expect from it. But whatever I was looking at on Solana got captured in it as well. So here on the Solana chart, I'm using a 1 month. I'm using it. I'm on the daily time frame, and I'm using the 1 month for Solana, so you can see how price comes down, respects here, comes up, and then you possibly be looking for a rejection somewhere in here. But if you break through, yada 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 yada, support, resistance, didn't hold as support. I mean, you know how to use a Bollinger Band, I'm sure. So it's just on a higher time frame, and that's it. Speaking of Solana, I'm gonna just jump right over there real quick. You can see we're still making our way down here to the bottom side of our range from our breakdown in here, where we broke, came back up, back tested as resistance, and now we're continuing to fumble the ball and make our way down here towards our low. So this has been a good, strong call on Solana for anybody who have been here for the live on Sol. It's been a really strong call here for Solana. And the worst case scenario that I spoke about for Solana is once we do start to break this trend line here. Also, we have the 200 EMA. Things start to, Solana starts to be in a pickle from there, and poses the potential of coming somewhere down around $40 to $30. Somewhere between there. So just bear that in mind if you hold Solana long term. I am a long term holder of Solana. I hold it on spot. I'm actually staking. It'll take too many days for me to unstake it and be able to drop it at this point. And I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm just going to ride the wave through the bear market, and hopefully it is one of the survivors, because a lot of things that may perform well prior to a bear market may not always come back, or not come back as strong. Okay. So I would still be in profit if Solana came down to about $40 to $30, but um, would not, still not be good. You know, it would still not be good. So that's what you have to look for here with Soul. If we start to lose this in here, then start. I mean, that is just my opinion. That is just my opinion. That Solana will potentially get down to about $40 to $30 with any chaos in here right now. Any chaos. So trouble. Ethereum. ETH has come down here to the target here. As I mentioned, the golden pocket, the 200-week EMA, and also the point of control sits within this area right here. And I would just do this real quickly. Hold on. Wrong thing, right? And you can see there's the point of control there. This is the 200 EMA here. And let's see if I left that fib in here for this is the golden pocket. Okay. So that's why I tied the whole thing up just like this. All right. And put a pretty little bow on it. Ultimately, bear market territory again is going to be down here where you see this green in here. We also have this ascending trend line down here at the lows. So bear market will be down in here. We're not far off from it. And all this information was shared in advance, at least 2 weeks in advance. Yeah, the entire market is, I mean, it's the everything bubble, um, where everything is just taking a tumble. Everything's just taking a tumble. Um, Nvidia, Nvidia right now. We talked about Nvidia yesterday, and I told you that they would likely keep prices pinned through here. But also, and I'm going to get rid of these check marks because that one works. And then now we're going to take a look at this next one right here, which is going to be the value area low, your 786, which is here. Your 200 EMA is also down in here, and then there's open interest for 175. It's not, I didn't put one of these little tools in here, and let me just go ahead and I'm just going to hide these because, if I do something, I do like to come back and talk about it, even if it's wrong. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good. This is the one trend line I wanted to make sure that we held here. And I just moved it from here because it was like this. And as momentum starts to decline, I will move it. So I set it like this. We got a small little reaction off of that. But yeah, it's broken now. And then you can see the confluence that's running across here. And I think the time frame I'm using on this might be let me see. So 1 week on this right here. So this is below the 20 SMA on the weekly time frame. And then, if it starts to come down and get trapped in here, then just look for that continuation. And what did I tell you? I was looking for something down in here on this momentum line in here for NVIDIA. And I know it will take some time for something like that to happen. If it happens, if this is truly the everything bubble, and we're going down. You can see that. I saw that rejection happening yesterday right there because it didn't manage to get back in here. It didn't manage to get out of euphoria. it broke below harmony. And so I had us pinned for prices to come somewhere back around that 200. And then that was about it. So this looks like a hot mess over here right now. Let me change this. It's still going to look like a hot mess. But that's the 786 there. I'm going to just go ahead and take this away for now. I'll come back and revisit that later today. And then, like I said, the 200 here. It's from a different time frame. It is not. It is not coming from this time frame here. I should at least put what time frame I was looking at because honestly, right now, I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you which time frame. Oh, so that sucks. And look at that candle. For the love of the Most High, look at that candle. Oh. Anyway, I can't remember which time frame I was assessing when I put in the information here, and I probably should have did that there. But back over here on this 4 hour, let me find my little table again. Slide this back over so I can see it. Hmm. And not just, I mean, and not just Nvidia. You got Tesla, which I said to you, I was thinking that Tesla would come down here. So it's starting to look more believable. It wasn't at first because we had that drop and reclaim, and we were pushing up, and I'm saying with my heart, I feel like it's gonna get here. I still don't know. I still don't know. It's just some stuff in the chart that gives a probability that it could get here. So that's all it is for now. Um, circle just, I mean, it circled all of its price action. All of it is living up to its name for sure. And then we have Palantir here. You can see I trapped Palantir here between, let me see, which one am I on for Palantir? It might be a monthly. I think so. No, it's an 8 hour. So I started using the 8 hour one over here for Palantir because I saw it was trapping between here, and then it tried, with the Nvidia news. But I sold the Palantir. Thank goodness I sold the Palantir because I was expecting for it to continue down. So I'm out of Palantir, and I didn't have that much left anyway. Um, and what you do when you're trapped like this is you're looking to short. So you're looking for price to come back up here at some point like that, and for you to short, come back up for you to short. At some point, you're not gonna you're gonna it's not gonna work perfectly every time, but that's what you'd be looking for. Come back up, and then you look to short. Um, when it's not extra volatile, you can look to long on these lows, but I don't tend to do that. Um, I tend to look for the short instead. I don't use it for me to say I'm gonna go long. Not when it's trending down like this. When it's trending down like this, if it's moving upwards, then that's different. But when it's trending down like this, I can't use it for that. So I use it for short. So Palantir, I don't think I put a target in here for Palantir. I see I got some lines in here, but I didn't put. Actually, yeah, these are targets. Yeah, these are targets. My bad. These are definitely targets for Palantir. So right now, Palantir would need to hold right here around this 151. And let me see what I did over here. Yeah, you want to see it hold here. And I specifically only put two of these lines on for here. I put the one for up here, and I'm gonna hide this for a sec, and I'll come back to that later as well, so I can take some stuff off of the chart. So I put the one that's up here for the rejection for price to claim back below here. You can see that, and then I put the one that's down here. So this is the one we want to see Palantir hold. Palantir doesn't hold here, then I start to look much lower, much lower for Palantir. But this could be your shot. This could be your shot right here, right here. All right. And basically too, all this does is it keeps me from having to, when I do it like this right here, it makes the chart look a lot less noisy. So for instance, that indicator, that's why you would see this a lot of times on my chart. I'm gonna put this on a 1 month. So that's gonna be it, somewhere right in here. I catch it initially, and that makes a difference. So you want to catch it initially. It'll look different when you use this indicator. So the way I do it is I analyze it and the initial points for it. When I do those lines, I like that. This is my initial point for it, and then after that, things will start to move. But that's how I do it. And so you have a price range actually where you think price will move in between. But you want to see price hold here right now. Not holding here, then you're coming down lower. I have 125 as the next, 135, 125 as the next target here for Palantir. Gold still holding up, which is great. We finally broken here on Amazon. And so, like I said, I am looking for Amazon to get somewhere down into here. This could move a little bit. It can. Right now, I'm looking at these blocks in here as points of interest, and then I'll see how I need to assess this. But right now, this is what it is for that 190.53. And if it comes to it and I need to move it, then I will move it. It's not like I have a limit order set in here and I'm just going to limit into this. No, I have to see the reaction down here for this area of interest, and then take the trade if there's one to be had down here. And I'm looking for a swing, which is why I don't mind having to sit here and wait. We broke that one now. We broke this trend line here. We can reclaim above this trend line. Great. I'm not doing anything. Even if it does reclaim above here, not a thing at all. I'm waiting on this. So right now, this is going to be my next target here, between 214, let's see, 211 to 202, 211 to 202 for Amazon. Google, this is what I was looking for Google for 335, We got up around 300 or something like that yesterday. Let me see. What was our high? It's 306. 306 yesterday before the market just vomited on itself. But like I said, big money doesn't care about, about these pulls to the downside. I think this target right here is supposed to at least be like a 2026 target. It's not a 2025 target. It's a 2026 target. But like I said, big money doesn't care about the pullbacks in the year. So buying in up here at the top is what they did. They don't care. They're looking at it for the long term. And I don't know if your cash runs like that. If it does, then you'll be okay. I'm not in Google. It's I was just fascinated with what I was seeing in the chart for it. Um, I've never owned any Google, which would probably be embarrassing to say. But so far, I mean, it's fighting its way to hold, to get back inside of this range right here. Because what I talked about was it being able to clear above here, and it did yesterday momentarily. It could keep fighting within this zone. It can keep fighting within it until it chooses a side. And you know how I am with trend lines, momentum lines, whatever name I choose to call them for that specific day. When you break it, I'm actually looking at the next one. So, um, this probably changed whenever this probably changed some stuff in here. But that is what it is for Google. It is still above the momentum line, and that's great. And it's back inside this zone, which is also great. So it is one of the stronger ones here. It's one of the stronger ones for sure. And that was just gold again here. Oh, let me go back because Hood, I was calling for 100 on Hood. See how low we got. We still didn't hit it. I'll be dang. My orders are just sitting there. Oh, we hit 101.90. We still didn't hit 100. I still didn't hit 100. And where's my stuff at? Why don't I see 100? This is on the Google chart. It's weird that my data isn't showing up. That is so weird. Oh, it's blocked. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so weird. So there's the 100 right here. Oh, I'm sorry, right here. Here's the 100 right here. That's the 105. What is that? 105. Uh-oh. Put this on a 16 so we can't see it. So I have it blocked, which is, it happens automatically because I be having to block trend lines and stuff on my indicators. But it's where we are currently. I have my limit orders open, just waiting for it to hit here. I really need for it to hit here now because we're far away from where I set the 125 to 120. So now I really need for it to hit here. I'm not going to move anything. I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to sit and wait for 100 to be hit. And then, I mentioned 60, which I said I'll probably be putting a lot of hopium into that. But that's what I'll be buying next. It hits my 100. Who else was I looking at in here? I think that might have been it. So I'm going to leave it at that. Uh, all right. The idea here was below 179, automatically flush down here to about 175. That was the idea. All right. Went through that, went through that. Oh, meta. Meta. All right. Here's the meta chart here. I know I'm using a month. I think I'm using a month in here on meta. I am. So you can see where it just tapped into that monthly right here. Meta. And it's getting that little bit of a bounce away right there. Still holding the momentum line through here. Still above this one here on price action. I don't need that. I don't need that. I will use that. Try to eliminate what I don't need in here. I'll keep that one in place. It did not manage to get above here, which is something that I was looking for. I probably will move this to here now, but you can see how bad the RSI is looking. So any move up probably would just be a bear div. And like I said, it could do something like it did, not right there, but way back, um, way back over here with all of this. Meta put in consistent bear deals, and that continued to drive prices down way lower, much, 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 much lower. That could be the case here once again for Meta, because we've hit everything in here that I assumed that we would hit, and now it's getting a little bit closer here to the ascending trend line in here, where if it breaks, this is not something that I would really be looking for right here. If it breaks, then it's, lower targets are to be had for it. Lower targets are to be had for Meta. I did close out my long position yesterday. The one, remember before I told you I took a hit on it, I re-entered off of, I think it was this candle right here. I re-entered off of this candle right here. I was up 60%. I went ahead and closed it out. So I made back the money that I lost from the other long that I took here on Meta. This is starting to turn down. Again, I didn't mention that at one point. It's starting to turn down. I'm going to be looking all the way down here for Meta. Doesn't mean it happens. I'm just going to be looking for it. That's it. I'm just going to be looking for it. Still selling off pretty, you can see here. I'm going to keep this one in here. But no sort of movement here from the RSI whatsoever. Nothing yet off of this weekly time frame. At some point, though, the MACD has been very, very clean with it. So, you'll be late in some cases unless you go with a delta color change or a delta posture change. But yeah, MACD has been pretty good. For identifying some real momentum right now. Meta just doesn't seem to have it. This doesn't seem to have it. Bum, bum, bum. You can see that rejection we were getting yesterday. We did get a slight little bounce in here yesterday. Was that? It was after I exited. Just wanted to test that out, and then it came up after that's resistance. It's back here again, possibly treating it as resistance. But normally I would put the diagonal line in here. You can see I chose not to do that yesterday. It doesn't need that, and it doesn't need that noise. I thought I had. Okay, here we go. S&P, which markets haven't opened yet, so we don't get to see the rest of this. This still remains target zone in here. One target zone in here. Two, and the one that the charts keep telling me that S&P can make its way all the way down here. So this would be a crap show for the markets. Period. That's a crap show. If any of that happened, it would be a crap show. But right now, I'm looking for this right here at the moment. And we've covered this. I'm just saying that's what I'm looking for in the time being. For the time being. All right. Let's see. Zcash here. It's bounced twice off of this golden pocket. That's the third time it's bounced off of it. Then you have the 786. I left this trend line in here, even though it has been whipsawing it. I have just kind of left it in here. I need to delete it. I just didn't want to do it until I started to stream back up because I know it was something that we was talking about yesterday. So now that we're all here, I can go ahead and say I'm done with that trend line right there. Whatever happens, it'll have to happen off of this golden pocket 786. Otherwise, I'll be looking for it to come down here, maybe even SFP off that previous day low, previous day low in here, but it's a daily low right here at 581.74. Binance chart for Zcash, and then another one down here. But we start to lose here, then I start to look down here. So hopefully we're not about to do a round trip on this thing. We'll see if it can't hold in here. And set this back onto the weekly. You can see where it rejected there. I'm back and forth between weekly and monthly here with it, but you can see where it rejected that off of the weekly up here. I'm just switching back and forth. I just kind of find what numbers I'm going to be looking for, and then I turn it off. Move that over. It's funny how that lines up with that previous day low. Could be an actual SFP that happens there, but we'll see. It's selling off pretty good right now. Zcash is. I'm looking at it from a 15-minute, from this 15-minute time frame on another screen. It's selling off pretty good right now. Let's just go ahead and take account for this just in case. Could be something, could not be something. And I'm always going to pull from the highest point. Was that not something I just looked at? I think so. It sure was. It sure was. Okay. Now the number's embedded in my head. We'll see. I'm going to delete this now. Just take that off. It's really, really kind of, ridiculous to entertain these lower time frames. But Zcash is one you can actually do that with. All right, this is the VIX over here. Doing VIX kind of stuff right now. I'm going to jump off of that. Okay, so we finally broke down below this here. I'm going to drop that. I'm going to drop this. I'm broken that one now. We had already broken this one and back tested it. Broke that. This is what we got next. This is what we have next. I am going to dismiss that at this point. And here we go. Yesterday we did pause out in here at this top momentarily, but yeah, I mean this is done. This is done. I can extend for a second target, but we're in the zone, so unless it comes up inside the zone, I don't know that it really yeah, I mean it's in the zone. We'll use it within here. Otherwise, we're hoping that we at least stop out in here. 6.83. 3. All right. And we did do a full target on this, but I deleted it because what I said was it doesn't make sense because it would just be bear market targets. That's it. It would be bear market targets. Whatever this is, if I set it up here, it would just lead us towards bear market targets. USDT dominance. Solana still fighting against Ethereum. Treated that as resistance that first go round there. It definitely made target. Look at that. It took some weeks to get there. That's where it initially broke, and then it came back in. And normally I would have deleted this, but because I haven't actually looked at the chart in a minute, I didn't. But I guess I'm glad it's still here. It's hard for me to identify that Solana is finding any hope against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just looking at the chart, it doesn't look that way. It just doesn't look that way looking at Solana's chart. But if they say so. All right, back over here on Bitcoin. Because this is what's wrecking. Oh, I need to look at dominance. I need to look at Bitcoin dominance. Know what I don't have on in here, which I could turn all of these off, all of that off. I don't have on my weekly levels, which actually lines up with the. Did I block this from this time frame? I guarantee you, I probably did block it from this time frame. I don't know why I would do that. Let me see. No, I didn't. Oh, why am I not seeing anything? It's weird. I'm weird. Exactly why I'm not seeing anything. I turned it off. Duh. But that 79,125, that lines up with I think the golden pocket was around there. When I was checking on it um, this morning, because I know I hadn't looked at my weekly levels in a minute. I just been working off of some, trend lines and stuff like that. But they are here. Oh. Right here. I didn't realize my coffee made its way over here to me. My levels be Oh, I was choking off my coffee. My levels be slapping too, but I just haven't had them all here lately. If I had I would have been looking right here like, hey, it's a big gap. It's a huge gap. Like there's no level after we drop this one. There's nothing in here. That would have helped, right? Because we've definitely been free falling ever since we broke there too. A little back test. Come on down here. Look for it to bounce there. Doesn't bounce there, then I start to look right here. 73,651.85. I will post these levels just in case anybody actually. I mean, I've posted them plenty of times before. They don't change. They don't change. The only time something changes is when a new level gets printed, and that rarely happens because they come from the weekly. So that rarely happens. Most of the time, price action just goes back and forth between these, and that's it. So they've been the same for multiple years now. With the exception of price coming up here for the first time. And since it came up here, it did print some levels in here, but that's it. That's it. Like I said, it has to be some sort of a change that takes place for something to be added, but everything else stays the same. We'll turn this back off. It is around that golden pocket, so I don't really need to have it on right now. I was looking at the bear div, and that's how I figured price was. I mean, we knew anyway. That was our 85,000 target right there, which was the largest open interest target, and then 80,000, of course, is that next open interest target. But I was looking at this morning, and I was like, hold on, okay, because sometimes this was rising a lot more. This morning, and usually when I see this going up and price going down, it's a bear div, which be looking for much lower, but it accelerated so fast. It was almost immediately after I'd drawn this. I was up like 12 o'clock this morning until now, like still up. I go to sleep early, so I wake up early, and yeah, we were printing the bear div in here. So when I see this going up, I kind of pair it with the delta. So when I see this going up, I know that price is going to continue to come down, at least until the delta actually flips colors. I, I was looking at another example in here this morning, and I think it was this one. I think was it this one. I thought it was this one right here. But anyway, not a good example. We talked about that bear div yesterday. I do use the volatility indicator, this one right here, the BB. I do use it to check for bear divs. Sometimes the RSI won't show you bear divs, and this one right here will show you faster because it's volatility. So we talked about that bear div there, and we had multiple bear divs. We had the bear div through here. You can actually see that one on the RSI there. Um, that is what I always preach about, because I know a lot of people get stuck focusing on the bullish divergence and don't understand that when you have a bearish RSI at any point, you have a bearish RSI, an extreme weakness on your RSI, then anytime you see bullish divergence, it really equates to a bear deal being formed because your RSI was so in the dirt. That is just how it works. Your bounce leads you into a bear div. When you get a nasty RSI, your bounce leads into a bear div. It's what it does. We got a nasty RSI here. So when we do get a move up on the daily, look for the bear div. Let that be the first thing you look for. The RSI is nasty. It's at 21. It's nasty. This one's not nasty, but we got the little potential bull div until we invalidate it. It's only potential right now. Here you have a nasty RSI. Nasty, absolutely nasty RSI. This is what, 17 or some crap like that. You do that and price comes up, you get a bear div. Bam, bear div. That's what you get. It's good for a quick trade to the upside, and then you short it. I'm not shorting, but you short it or you take profit because RSI is disgusting. You got a disgusting RSI here, which right now I'm just gauging where the lowest point on the RSI is at each point. So when the RSI drops down, I might expect for price action to attempt some sort of a bounce around that point or SFP off of that for a little quick trade to the upside. But whatever happens in here, you're going to be looking for that bear div because the RSI is straight garbage. It's garbage. I don't need that. That's useless. Like I said, we'll use this to highlight bear divs. I will use it to do that. Sometimes it's a lot easier to just see it here too. Let's see that bear div. Nasty RSI equals bear div, and you can see it on your RSI. That's all a nasty RSI equals. It doesn't equal bullish divergence. It equals a bear div. And even when you do get the bullish divergence, you're going to end up getting a bear div because that's just what a nasty RSI does. It's just what it does. Nasty RSI. Bear div. That's all I'm saying. Just like a beautiful RSI equals bullish divergence. That's why when people are highlighting bullish divergence, bearish divergence, price pops back up on you. Why? Because your RSI was in euphoria. It was in euphoria. It's already printing it. So we're just going to continue this cycle to the downside. That open interest. Let me refresh it first. Let's get it up to date. There's our 85, and you can see how 80 is starting to build up over here. So, I mean, this stuff over here, it's not gotten bad. It hasn't gotten bad yet. You know, has potential hedge positions. It hasn't gotten bad yet. Still, your biggest volume is sitting around the 90. The biggest volume is still sitting here. This is your biggest spike, though, that 85, which we've already surpassed that. And then we got 80. Yeah, then we got 80. Unfortunately. I actually haven't looked at liquidation heat map in a minute. I'll go ahead and take a look at it. Yeah, because we straight ran. I mean, you tend to go back to those open interest zones. You tend to retrace to those at some point. And we straight ran through 85 like it was nothing. So yeah, we have the liquidity there. 85. come back to 90 at some point. And then I always, when I was on strike, I just turned these off. That's all. Open interest by strike price. Saw that we was up there. We're getting a little slight rejection from where the RSI came back up here and back test this area ever so slightly. We've already rejected off of this one. So I'm going to drop that one. And then this one right here is just the one that I was looking at from the weekly time frame. So that's, or even monthly, that's this one. That's where we're currently, trying to recover back above this point right here. Just want to see. I honestly think that we get that bounce from here, though. I think, even if it's the golden pocket, even if we have to come down a little bit more to tap into that golden pocket, because I'm pretty sure some people be whining about the fact that Bitcoin price didn't hit the golden pocket. Since it's so close to that, the one that's pulled from this low to this high, and not the 786 that was pulled from this low to this high, but the golden pocket. So, I'm pretty sure some people will whine about that if we don't hit it. I just wanted to check something, so I'm going to turn that off for a sec. I just wanted to see how that would have went back there. And then I always do this one like that. I think I remember doing this like about 2 years ago. I did something like that. And then there was, I think I did this right here. What was the lowest point? I think, no, it wasn't that. I did something else. So it wasn't that. I did something else, and I absolutely captured the low here. And I can't remember what it was that I did. Nope, I cannot think of what it was based on. Nothing. And again, that's the same thing right here as that, as this one. Oh, sorry. That's the same thing right here. It might be our rejection point. Let me check Zcash again. I just want to see. Okay. I didn't really need to put you on this chart. It hasn't even tapped that 786 just yet here, just to see if it's going to bounce there. And if not, start to assess in here. It's not really. I'm going to move this on this. It's not perfectly there, but I don't really like it. I think it comes up, fails, and then puts in a bigger one, something like that. But that would be a first. Drop that. I almost want to open up a short. I don't know. I don't know. Left a lot of money behind not taking these shorts. I just tell myself I'm killing my own bags if I take the shorts. That's all I mean, I guess that's it. Bitcoin dominance. I did say I wanted to look at Bitcoin's dominance. All right, we hit that 786 for Zcash. I don't see any sort of reaction on it. Just, I mean, price action is reacting. I can't really tell that momentum is kicking in for it just yet, though. It doesn't seem like it. So, positive MACD cross if if it has any follow through. That would still need 5 minutes, just like the 15. It's a little cleaner over here. I'm gonna be watching Bitcoin, but have a better chance of making some money off of this thing over here. Like I said, it didn't show any sort of change in momentum, so it didn't make sense. Not for me, not right now. To want to jump in. I'm still in my loan position. It's come down quite a bit on me, so I'm still only just up like 55% right now, and that was from the one that we took right here. So, and I already took profit on that particular one time already. And if you weren't here, this potential move for a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. I hate to think what the rest of the altcoins are actually looking like. Oof. Let's see your red. XRP is only down 5%. SUI 10. Link is 1207. I think I had about what I set up on Link somewhere around that price. Just check that. Yeah, I did. So that chain link order did get filled on me. Something's going on with Coinbase at the moment. Can't really tell. Oh well, I'll take a look at it later when I look at some of these altcoins in here, see how they're doing. Um, We do have Flash today, Flash manufacturing, Flash services today, and then we'll carry over into next week. We'll have PPI. It's going to be interesting. Retail sales. That's going to happen on Tuesday. PPI and retail sales. Then we'll have unemployment claims on Wednesday. We'll have a busy day, a busy week next week. Some things will still be tentative. And then that little bit of data today is going to come out about 9:45. That actually got a reaction that time. I'm gonna sit out of that first move personally here for Zcash. Then it's so close to this golden pocket here and this trend line in here also. I don't think it's been like that in a long time, has it? Last time it got like that was right here. And again over here before walking sideways. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna delete this one so nobody gets caught up on it. Like I said, it's really close to this golden pocket here. This ascending trend line, possibly even the previous day low. Just doesn't look like a good catch right there. This has absolutely no structure. It had some right through here. Then it completely lost whatever structure it had. See in here, it just looks like a fallen. It's just, yeah, it just looks like it's fun. No structure. Right. And Bitcoin confirmed that rejection that we were looking at. I can delete this just so I don't have an extra line on the chart at this point. It is in tune with this 786 down here, that previous day low, that daily low, however you want to refer to it. It's there. And then that'll be the other previous day low. I'm sorry, let me check something. Kept going over here. Okay. Yeah, it don't look too good on that 15 right now as I watch it. $15 relative weakness. I'm about to hit it on the 1 hour time frame as well. It's 33. Let me make sure. Even though I copied it, it might want to follow me for our same story. Right down there. Tweets are top. Below 50. Just see daily, 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 daily. Right, so I'm not looking for a V-shaped recovery at all. I'm looking for at least a couple of candles like that. If this does get a little bit of a bounce up, maybe it hits somewhere around 627, possibly even 639, possibly, but I don't know if 639 actually be in the cards. That would be coming back up here for a rejection around these lows. I'm still going to be waiting for some sort of consolidation, even if it's very minor. Like I said, like this, I'm not going to get interested in this. I don't think a V-shaped recovery is in the cards for it. I mean, it can do it. It's Zcash. It can't surprise us. I don't have to rush because I'm still holding at the moment. Bitcoin, like I said, it did. I'm just going to flash over here on it real quick. It did give that rejection up here that we were looking at when the RSI got up into here. Delta is, well, MACD still has a positive signal cross, which, if it can hold it, maybe at a little higher low in here, small little inverse on it to come up to maybe about 85 or that liquidity that we were looking at, or possibly even just back into here, a wick, and then body closure in here for that rejection, possibly as it's working its way closer to the 80,000 and the golden pocket level, which you don't see in here, which I really hate to break below here. But it is what it is. This is, we have zero strength. I'm still only going to look for some structure on this. I don't really like this structure here. I guess about 630. I'm going to push that number up to about 640, 630, 640, maybe. Then that gives this some structure. And we can see the move continuation down. Though it did hit the gold. It likes the golden pocket for sure. 640. Definitely likes the golden pocket. God, Bitcoin look like it's getting ready to accelerate again. Oh gosh. Once it loses this level it's sitting on, and I hate to keep bouncing you back and forth, but once it loses here, it picks up full steam ahead. I can even go as far as to say, as to give it a little bit extra. And this is gracious right here. Really, it really is more like that. Yeah, once that's gone, then I'm probably full steam ahead. Let me see, cash gonna go right along with it. Trust that. As right now, the time frame doesn't look good. I hate how they started doing that. Gap down a bit. What do I have? Bearish evidence is building for potential stock market correction. December rate cut. Odds plunge to 30%. Nvidia goes up. Must come down. Healthcare heats up, but one stock looks even hotter. With a polar vortex and natural gas to the moon. Meta hits most oversold levels in 3 years. Yes, it does. Hint the last time marked the bottom. Yeah, Meta. We got 14 hours before this session actually starts. Okay, put this back. $53 is where price needs to be at to flip positive on Gamma for I bet shares. See what else I can tell you in here. I mean, the rest of it pretty much looks like Bitcoin for the most part. I mean, regular Bitcoin overview. I'm sure it is a strong sale. Strong sale. 7, 46, 44. Yeah, it's looking at the IBIT volume. Um, just the increase in the volume. With open interest going up as prices going down, that's pretty bearish, but we can already see that. Pretty bearish. It does show people are interested in getting long, though. Or shall I say, not as interested in showing it to zero. Where is October 6th at? Let me see something. Oh, do I even know my months? Oh, yeah, we remember October 6th. Absolutely. Open interest spiked hard on October 6th. I wasn't looking at it. I know October. You know what? I'm gonna tell you, I am done with I usually don't let stuff that other people say get in my head. But if I did a little bit with this whole October thing. Like this time is different. Boy, y'all kill not y'all, not you viewers. I'm just saying, like everybody's spewing the same garbage. I don't care who's trying. I didn't spew it. I didn't spew it. However, personally, I did start to let it get in my head a little bit. Because you have all these people that are supposed to know what they're talking about, who I'm gonna assume is smarter than me. Eh, this time is different. No, this time is exactly the same. And then every influencer started regurgitating the same thing about this. What's the name of that thing? Um, dang, I had it in my head this morning because I was thinking about it. Um, they were comparing the chart to crap. I can't even think of it now. So that I mean that alone just tells you I don't use that. Like you can trade the chart in front of you. You can trade the chart in front of you. And when you go on YouTube and everybody's spitting out the same information, screw that. Screw it. The chances of it happening, M2 money flow. That's what it was. Every influencer is spewing this M2 money flow thing. I don't know anything about it. I can trade the chart in front of me. I don't need to do M2 money flow. Because the chart in front of you, the same way you don't have to have indicators, you can actually trade the price action. You don't need M2 money flow to trade the chart that's in front of you. Trade the freaking chart in front of you. And then everybody started with this I don't know, something with the it's not the it, they were using a different Bollinger. I know it wasn't what I use. They were using something else. This little Bollinger. All the YouTubers started doing that crap too. And I remember looking at it like, that's funny because I'm just looking at it how I usually would look at it here. And this tells me it goes down because it's squeezing up here at the top. That tells me it goes down. Squeezing up here at the top tells me it goes down. Squeezing up here at the top tells me it goes down. Squeezing up here at the top tells me it goes. And I'm just going through and through and through. Like that's what it tells me. But YouTubers are all following each other with this garbage, just regurgitating it. Like, what is the chart in front of you showing you? Now, I am getting into this everything bubble thing. I am because I don't typically find correlation between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. People like to say that it's correlated. I don't see the correlation. I honestly don't. I don't. Right now, everything is kind of in a bubble, though. That is true. Everything is in a bubble, and everything is basically moving together right now. But I'm not doing M2 money. I'm not doing whatever this Bollinger crap is that they were talking about, which is not the same Bollinger stuff that I use. This whatever that stuff was that they were doing that I found to be complete garbage. And it's simply basically too just because they're all regurgitating it at the same dang time. Like, do they have a class that they attend where they train you to repeat the same information? Because if I show up on your channel, you better be trying to tell me something different. You better be thinking for yourself. If you're not thinking for yourself, then I don't need to watch you. I really don't. And that's just what I really don't want to watch anybody else, to be honest with you, because they be saying the same crap. I like to support other YouTubers, though. I really love to support other YouTubers. I go to their channel, I watch their videos, even if I don't go all the way through, and I hit the like button because I like to support the space. I just want to find somebody who can think for themselves, though. So if you found down the crypto TA, you found somebody who doesn't regurgitate. I don't. I most certainly don't. Other person I know that doesn't regurgitate is Frank of Candles. He doesn't regurgitate. I like that about him. He does not regurgitate. He don't even know who you talking about. Trade Travel Chill. She's good. She's good. All right, we're starting to dance around there on Zcash. So I can say I appreciate that because I'm not looking for any sort of a V-shaped recovery in here. I want to see it dance around. I want to see it, hold the space so I can tell that it's actually trying to build up some momentum to get a push up. I still think that the move might be a little lackluster in here, but I'm willing to give it a chance as long as I can see it putting in a couple of candles here. And that first move rejected off of the 5. See that right there. I think Bitcoin is slipping now, so we might be about to speed up. Um, ooh. There's some charts that didn't take that low of that wick. I know Blowfin didn't take it. I'm gonna refresh it just in case. And sometimes it doesn't refresh and show me the updated data. No, it didn't take it. So come back down and take that. And we'll look how we behave around this 26 CMA from the monthly. That was our monthly, right? Yeah, from our monthly. It's a better move on Zcash. Still think somewhere around maybe 640 could tap out. We'll see what she does. For Bitcoin, I'm probably gonna wish I took that little short when we looked at it. And I say that every time. I could have taken those short. I could have taken all the shorts. I just don't want to short. Just rather get wrecked trying to long. Bear divs. And the bear divs is what be given. So when it tapped in here, it tapped in with that bear div. Because the RSI is garbage. I'm trying to think if I want to close out my limit position I have open for that golden pocket. I got fortunate that time when this happened. I really did. You know it's bad because we're trading we're trading within an S3 and an S2. is that bad. Well, usually you be between a S2 and a S1, like it's moving within a 3 and a 2. Like that's sadness. It did that over here where it was moving between a 3 and a 2. And these were our bear divs to the upside here. Bear div, and I left it like this too to look at where it got the SLPs at. SLP for the move down. This one didn't actually get a bear div, but still rejection. SLP down with the bear div. And I just used the first 2 points here off of that 4-hour because it's broadening, which means the retracement gets worse and worse, which means keep putting in the bear div. The bear divs keep getting lower, but the downside gets worse. So it's a terrible RSI on the 4-hour time frame. I can take this off of here. Just trying to see those bear divs. I was doing that. It's like these candles are terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's a huge difference between 37 and 6. And bulls are nowhere to be found. It's below it now. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Zcash still ranging right now, which is good because either it ranges and builds up momentum or it drops lower. So no point in trying to be the first horse out of the stable. Like I said, just not looking for a V-shaped recovery. It doesn't look like it's a V-shaped recovery situation. And just let those candles consolidate there. I was just seeing a video. I didn't actually watch it, but it was. I think it was. No, it wasn't. It was that guy. Name is it Peter Schiff? It might have been him. Everybody's giving everybody's giving Sailor crap right now and MicroStrategy. All right, so we're peaking just below that 26 EMA from that monthly time frame. That is what this is here. It did that back in 2021 as well before it got the bounce, the pity bounce up, or that last little bounce to the upside before it continued to move to the downside to finish out the rest of the the bear market. Which I am suggesting that we're in just based on the technicals. Historically, it has represented every bear market. I do appreciate the fact, however, how small it is, we are getting a small little reaction off of it. I do like to see that, at least some sort of reaction and not just completely bulldoze through it. Even though we haven't hit 80,000 just yet, we have went as low as $8,911 here on Binance chart and the golden pocket sitting down in here. And Zcash got a reaction off of our trend line, our ascending trend line. That's in between the golden pocket and the 786. Just a little small reaction in there off of that at the moment. And today is also November 21st. This is the day of those options expiry. Past few streams, I have not played any sort of background music. And I am about to get out of here too at 8 o'clock. So I'm just going to run through real quick just a breakdown of what I'm looking at. So you already know that I'm watching the 26 EMA on the monthly time frame. There's also the golden pocket as well as the 786. Golden pocket particularly I'm interested in, not 786. We're doing 786. I mean, my gosh, we might as well go all the way down to the bear market lows, right? So 26 EMA, golden pocket. Potentially we do something like we did over here. 26, just barely peek below it and get our little bounce back up, possibly put in that head and shoulders, and then we'll continue to rally or to move to the downside here to finish out the bear market play. You already know about the RSI, but as far as today is concerned, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for us to come back in and respect the 26 EMA for the start of a bounce back to the upside. If we don't do that, then like I said, I will be looking for price to come down to the golden pocket, not the 786, but the golden pocket. And actually, let me just turn this other one off as well. So probably the golden pocket. Like I said, some people be whining, price didn't hit the golden pocket. That's what I'm waiting for. It can hit that golden pocket at any time it wants to hit it. At any moment it wants to hit it, it can hit it. Right now, I'm really focused on this 26 EMA. Same energy is what I want. Same energy. This is a humongous candle. Not that it really matters, but the same energy is what I'm looking for over here. All right. So a little small reaction in here so far. Take that away. If it does 80,000, which I don't expect for price action to tap 85 perfectly. I expect for it to go over it a little bit and then start to look at walking our way back in some of these these strike prices here, the 85,000, the 90,000, potentially the 100,000. Okay, but right now in the immediate, I'm looking for us to walk back into that 85,000 is what I'd be looking for. All right, so we hold anywhere between um, where we have that 26 CMA and that golden pocket. I look for a bounce back into 85,000, and over the next coming days, as today is Friday, so we do have less liquidity in the market than we had yesterday because a lot of liquidity starts to leave on Thursdays, and it's already been harsh for Bitcoin in terms of liquidity. So as we go into the weekend, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I do expect for price to retrace at least right now going into the weekend the 85 to $90,000. I expect for us to retrace that much, and that is what I'll be watching for with Bitcoin. All right. Ethereum is basic. Nothing has changed over here as far as the notes in here for Ethereum. You do want to see it hold in here. You have the 200 EMA. It's at the point of control there where it got the little bit of a bounce, a reaction from there. Um, Also the golden pocket. So it's in all three right now. It has tagged all three here. So we want to hold here. All right. Solana. I mean, we have to be able to hold here for Solana. We've already taken the liquidity over this trend line here, tapped into the 200 EMA here for the weekly time frame. We are within a platinum pocket here for Solana. We know we're already at bear market territory for Solana as well. So we do want to see that hold here. If we start to accelerate past here, it doesn't look good. I'll be looking for 30 to 40, which would take some time to play out. But right now, just using the higher time frame to try to figure out what we could do here on the lower time frame, because we want to see prices holding here. So this could have been a strong bet right in here. We'll see. But it could have been a strong bet. Um, just as I walk through the rest of them. Meta, I do want to see Meta, how we got the bounce here at that 581 in here. I do want to see Meta hold there. Now there is the trend line and all that good stuff in here that Meta's prices is really close to. But if we can just respect that, then that's great. It could take some time, for Meta to show some sort of a full recovery. It won't be today. So maybe going into next week could be a nice move for Meta. All right. NVIDIA, as you see in here with the notes, and sorry, I cannot recall where the 200 time where I got it from which time frame I pulled it from, and I'm not going to run through and try to find it either, but that was the 786. That's also open interest strike right here at 175. So value area low as well for NVIDIA. I do think that there's potential for NVIDIA to come lower. They can still keep it pinned through here. It's not that they can't. They can still keep it pinned through here. But if we do start to slip that 174, I mean, we've already changed market structure within here on the 4-hour time frame. So I would probably be looking for lower going into next week. Today is Friday. For now, it is holding this low in here, and that you have to recognize that. So this is it. This is it right here for NVIDIA. Failure to hold here and just continue to look for lower. Like this is, that's the last point of interest over here. Can look out on the higher time frame, but right now just 4 hours is all I really need to gauge with. Bearish pattern in here already. Ascending broadening, bearish pattern. Tesla, it could attempt to recover back above here once again. It can do that. I still think that Tesla has the energy to make its way down here. So far, it is in between these two trend lines that I have. You can see how price reacts if it makes its way down here. It's about 380. About 380. Is there any sort of support over here around that range as well? I don't really see. You can see how it held the lows in here once before. Maybe take that little bit right there. But it's a long-term view for mostly for stock market. It's a long-term view. It doesn't move the way that Bitcoin moves. Nice little pop up there on Bitcoin and Zcash at the moment. Uh, yeah, no comment on that one. Just let that be. Palantir, like I said, we do want to see it hold here around this 150, 140. That is what I am eyeing as the level that I want to see it respect. If it starts to lose that, then I'm going to start to look down here at 135.44 for the day. It is the weekend again, okay? It is the weekend again. If you have this descending trend line on your chart, you can adjust it and move it up to this point, or you can just look to see if it respects it this time around. Gold still holding. So gold is respecting this trend line in here. I would expect for it to continue to do that. You see it break, then I do start to look down here again. It would take some time for that to play out as well. So most of the stuff that I talked to you about in the stock market is going to be things that take some time to play out. Amazon, throughout today, I would continue to watch this 211 to 202 throughout the day to see if price possibly comes down into this. If not, you want to see a reclaim back above this trend line here where we had price breakdown from. That should indicate some sort of strength if we can reclaim it. But it can do like Tesla did, where it just starts to whip it. If it starts to whip it, then it's no good. And I would just delete it, which is what I need to do with Tesla right now. But in the meantime, 211, 202 here for Amazon. This is Alphabet, Google, one of the stronger performers here. Coming back into the zone, you break down, you come back in. It could be a good opportunity to just play the range until the range breaks here. So 289 to 299 seems pretty stern in here. You can also adjust that. It's respecting the momentum line in here, which I love to see. Damn you, Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I just looked at Bitcoin. It just pissed me off so bad about something else. But but it is holding this momentum through here. I hate when we break momentum. I really do, because then you're in the struggle of is price action actually weak? I do see a future that can take some time to play out up there. But so far, you do still have higher lows within here on this 2-hour time frame here for Google, and it is a lot stronger than some of the other charts. If everything else starts to go down, though, it is an everything bubble, right? So I would expect for Google to falter too. But use that to your advantage, and you can see where your momentum line here is to the downside, and you can see where you want to get back above. Once again, it did reject here one time already. That's your lows also, so it makes sense, right? It makes perfect sense. So you may not always get it when I reference these momentums in here, but this was bulls showing some strength. This was bears saying and slapping it down. This was where bulls showed some strength. This is where bears came back and they weren't able to push the price down further. And so that's how I tend to use those momentum lines in there. But this right here is your harmony right through here. It did move ever so slightly. I'm going to keep it the way I have it here. It's probably coiling right now for some sort of explosive move. It could coil for a long time though before we actually see a clean breakout, if we're going to see that breakout to the upside. And that takes me to Hood, which has done well for itself to bounce away and not hit my target of $100, which I'm still going to be waiting for that throughout the day, because we don't know what's going to happen. We do not know what's going to happen. I'm just kind of upset right now. Every time I look at Bitcoin, it just kind of upsets me a little bit, but I appreciated getting that little pop to the upside. Oh, I'll still be waiting on it. I will still be waiting on it. Okay, 105 did hit. 100. Gotta wait on that, baby. Got to wait on that. I'm gonna put this back on Google. Google. And then the other thing you just have to look for is what the S&P 500 does today. You know, I'm just gonna stick with it. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with it. We had an attempted reclaim back inside the trend line in here. We had an attempted reclaim. It failed. It failed. I'm gonna be looking here throughout the day. Just looking here. 64, 27, 62, 12. I'm gonna be looking here on S&P. And that's all I got for it. All right. Zcash, it got the little pop up here after coming into the ascending trend line in here, which was great. All this stuff adding together in here. Still at resistance. So do note that still at resistance through here. I don't. Now it can push back up into these lows or maybe even these lows in here. It can still do that and be a lower, a little lower high here on this 15-minute time frame, and continue to move down. It can do that. I'm not really um, concerned too much on my entry here for Zcash. And what I was looking at, no, it wasn't that one. So possibly still can look for an SFP if it fails. We would have to fail the ascending trend line, but if it fails, it could possibly look for an SFP here of that low, and then possibly even if for some reason we take a turn for even worse, could possibly look there. Okay. Otherwise, it'll be all the way down here. So, I mean, just take advantage of your fib levels through here. Zcash tends to respect the fib levels to a degree. To a degree. And back over here to Biddy. All right, so about 15 minutes until I jump off stream. Nice reaction again. Nice reaction here from that 26 EMA from the monthly time frame. Nice reaction. I'm kind of pissed a little bit here with Bitcoin. I am just kind of a little pissed here with Bitcoin. And hitting a 200 EMA. Did break above that time too, so that was good. I can go ahead and drop that one. I don't need that one anymore. It's all about this one that's descending now. You have a trend line you can drop down to here as well. This I'm not looking for a rejection off of this. I probably should have said that if I said anything different before. I'm not looking for a rejection off of this right here. This is actually our main trend line here for Biddy. Our main trend line is this one right here. So we're looking at this right here on the lower time frame. So I do want to see price reclaim above that. So nice hold off of that 26, like I said, and I do want to see price reclaim back above this trend line here. They're working together. And then you want to start to see price continue to hold above here and push away from it. That's what we want to see. This was the first thing I was looking for on the drop down, even though I set my initial entry below it, because I don't expect, it's like I guess the first tap for it after being able to connect the dots to it. Some people look at it and say three. Sometimes I will regurgitate, that is three, but it's really the first time price came into it after being able to connect the dots to it. So, and you can see how we reclaim back up above it. So it is important that price manages to make its way back above it. Same thing is going to go for if you know, we're not done with this. We're not done with this. And it's going to look bad on the lower time frame and it'll look okay on the higher time frame because it doesn't look bad on the higher time frame. It's just the lower time frame perspective that makes it look terrible. And I'm sorry, that's not the 200 EMA that price is hitting. It's not the 200. It's the 200, but it's not the EMA. So I apologize when I said that here for Bitcoin. It is, I think, this is the first time we've actually tapped it, though. I do believe in a long time. In a long time. See that? We get above here. We get above here. It could be a good go for Bitcoin. A good go. We get above here. To go back and hit some of those, like I said, those points that we were watching. Not that. Getting back above here. Getting into that 85. Getting into that 90,000. If we can do that. We will go from blue to green. How green do we stay? But we will go from blue to green if we can make that happen. Zcash did get rejected here at those lows that we were talking about, which I should have. 8 minutes. Important trend line for you guys. But 8 minutes for a dip. I should have just did it like so. Just like that on these lows for the rejection. And then the next one could be, let's put it to a line chart, forgive me, like that. No, I don't want to tap that one. I don't want to do that one. That one's a little bit more chopped. That's not anything right there. But here to here, that's what I was saying. You can get into that low and you can even get into this low right here. You start to see it rejecting. It could be doing like it was doing the last time before. I know that there is resistance here, which is, for what I'm seeing, 26 EMA here. 26 EMA right there at the lows. Let's see, for Zcash. Ooh, Bitcoin. I moved that entry. I moved it. I moved it because I knew we could, I moved it because, dang, I moved it though. I moved it. So I'm kind of upset with Biddy, which is great for anybody else. Great for anybody else. But I definitely moved the goalpost on my entry that I wanted to take. I moved it from here and I pushed it down. So I didn't get that entry. It's okay. Because I can't say that it's about to break out from here just yet. If it does, then I can just take a late entry. But I definitely moved it from this one. Hmm. At least I could have got in here on this entry, taken profit early, let the rest of it sit in here. If it does decide it's going to come back down and come down here into this golden pocket, which I would rather not see it do that and continue to bleed out. I would rather not see it continue to bleed out and make that move down here. But that was because I'm avoiding taking shorts. That was something that I could have taken it. Could have. Let's just see if I'm gonna do it like it was off of the line, though. I'm not gonna do it from higher up off this line, just off of it. I can even simplify it even more. All right, so let's just say it gets back into 90. It'll probably hit some resistance in here, though. Likely. It's just a 9% move there. I'll set it like that. Yeah, 9% move there. Or if we need to come in off of, probably won't be exact. Probably won't. About a 14 to 15 if we're looking to get back into, just go with 85 to somewhere in these lows. I know I said 90, but let's just look at the reward of this. That happens. Let's just say you're somebody that prefers this. It's like a 6% move, which is rewarding. That is still rewarding. At least it's not a bear deal against this point right here for now. Maybe against something else, but actually not against this point right here for now. That's great. That's great. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here. We've done at least one thing I wanted to see us do, and we can always come back and retest this and try it again here. You know, and I've given you everything that I was looking for here for Bitcoin. You can be a safe trader. You can wait also for this actual break here. Or, you can assume the risk. With that said, please be sure you hit the like button if I gave you any good information today, any good information that you were able to use on your own accord. This is the Coin King channel. I am a host on the Coin King channel. I am down to Crypto TA, and today is Friday, and it is the weekend, baby. So be safe, guys. I don't stream on weekends. Be safe. I appreciate you for being here, and I will see you on Monday. I will pick up on, if it's something worth talking about. I don't think anybody really wants to hear any other rhetoric, but if it's something worth talking about, we'll definitely be here to talk about it. So clean rejection right now off of Zcash. Zcash. Have to see how much of a rejection it is, though. All right. Love you and peace.